I'm going to use Adobe Audition to cut a loop and build a soundtrack for an After Effects composition. You can see here I've got a full kind of hip-hop sort of sounding composition. Pretty electronic sounds. I'm going to cut a segment from that composition, process it so it will fit perfectly to my After Effects composition. And we've been quite often working with 10-second long After Effects comps, so I'm going to try and fashion something that will fit perfectly with that. So let's kind of have a look at this composition and kind of ascertain what we might cut out of it. So most electronic music has 4 beats to each bar and repetitions of 4 bars. I think out of this music I want to cut 2 bars of music, so I'm going to try and count that. Select a piece and see if I can count out 8 bars. And I think it'd be from maybe from this early section here. Zoom in, have a look at that. So we can see these kind of visually repetitive patterns that are more or less bars of music, and the louder bits kind of spike. Select maybe this little pattern here and see see how many beats I've got in there. So I'm counting 8 beats in there. I'd like to get my selection a bit tighter, so I'm going to zoom right in. And adjust my in and out points. Just to make sure they're really closely aligned to the waveforms. Now make sure that I've got the loop button on so that I can hear my loop happening. That's looping quite well. Great. So I think I'll copy that. I'm going to hit Command C on the keyboard, and that'll copy that section of that waveform into the clipboard. But you'll see that now that I've made that selection, I'll be able to move that selection throughout the song. And generally speaking, electronic music doesn't fluctuate too much in terms of tempo, so that the loop should work wherever I put it on the timeline. Okay, I'm going to get that original loop that I isolated before, and I'm going to put it into a new audio file. So we can select either multi-track session or audio file. Audio file is for creating one piece of sound, and a multi-track is more for layering and composing. I'm just going to give this a name of edit, and at these values here, 48,000 Hertz, stereo and 32-bit. Click OK. So I've got an empty file here, and I can hit paste or Command V and paste in that loop that I isolated. So making sure we've got our loop button on and hitting spacebar on the keyboard. Cool. Now I want to end up with something that is 10 seconds long. So I might need to add a bit more length and then change the overall or adjust the overall speed of the music and conform it to 10 seconds. So what I'm going to do is deselect, and I'm going to click right to the end, get the playback head right to the end of the passage. And I'm going to paste another version of that into the timeline. So you can see that we're going well over 10 seconds there. So I'm going to stretch that to conform to 10 seconds, which is going to make it possibly a little bit too fast, but you'll get the idea of what I'm doing here. I'm going to squish it down. It's going to play a lot quicker, but if I use the effect time and pitch and conform it to use the new duration value here, we could change the pitch if we wanted to, but I'm just going to keep it the same pitch and hit apply. It'll take a couple of seconds. Alright, so we'll play that and it'll be much quicker. But it'll conform exactly to 10 seconds. Now that's probably a little bit of an exaggeration in terms of that speed shift, but you'll get the idea of what you can do with the pitch shift effect. I'm going to save that file, and I'm going to save it as either a WAV file or an AIFF file. WAV files are kind of Windows files, uncompressed Windows files, and AIFFs are kind of the Mac equivalent. I'll browse to the desktop. Go OK. Now, if I open up After Effects and just make a new project and import that file, let's call it Edit, and create a composition, it'll open up a file that is exactly the right length. And you can see if I play that through, it'll loop right back on itself, and we don't have any kind of awkward start and ending weird fade out. It's perfectly kind of timed to the in and the out point. Let's just twirl down our audio, have a look at our waveform there. We can see all these peaks and troughs in our waveform here, and obviously that'd be good points to animate to if you wanted to get something that was fully in sync, to get some animation that was fully in sync with your audio.